so the cup is going to move a little bit as I pour it out. Probably going to do some kind of like an S, you know, a little bit of wiggling back and forth. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. But let's go ahead and pour. That is a beautiful design. Hey everybody, it's Anna. Welcome back to my Fluid Art channel and thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'm painting two canvases, two 12 by 12 inch canvases, and these are actually a commission order. So a while back I painted this big 24 inch by 24 inch canvas that had 4 different panels, 4 different designs, and then there was this stencil in the middle of a compass, because it was representing the United States of America in its north, its south, its east, and its west, which was a really cool concept, I thought. Anyway, I sold it, but the person who bought it, they have it hanging on their wall, and they said, I would love some smaller canvases to go sort of on each side, using the same colors of the sections of that painting. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this in 2 different videos because I can't do 4 all in one. So I'm going to do the Eastern colors and the Western colors today, and in my next video I will do the North and the South. So I have 12 by 12 inch canvases, and I'm going to be doing straight pours because in the original painting I did 2 Dutch pour blowouts. I did a straight pour and I did a cell activator swipe. But I thought it would be too distracting if these 4 sort of surrounding paintings were all different styles. So instead I'm going to do all straight pours, which I think is going to give us a lot of pattern, contrast, color, cells, all the nice stuff that you want in a pour. So the East colors, this is representing the Northeast, like New England coastal colors, nautical. So we have a lovely dark navy and a sky blue, this unbleached titanium, metallic gold, and of course white. And then for the west side, this would be California or Hawaii. So we have very sort of tropical colors. This is Quinacridone rose, middle green, metallic teal, and bright aqua green, and also white. Now my white is special because I'm doing straight pours. You want lots of natural kind of boulder cells to show up. And one of the great ways that you can do that is by using house paint. So this is semigloss interior house paint. It's like for walls. And this, it's a nice light density paint, and it really loves to make those sort of fluffy cloud or boulder cells. So I'm hoping that that helps get a lot of cell reaction in both of these pours. I've got this approximately 10 ounce, 8 to 10 ounce silicone cup, because that's about the amount of paint that you want for a canvas this size. I think that's all my details. Let's make some paintings. All of my paints today are mixed with US Floetrol, about 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol, and then I add some water in order to get it to the right consistency. So the consistency I have today I would describe as about medium to medium thin. And if you want to know more about paint consistencies, what consistency of paint you want to use for different types of pours, how do you check, how do you get all your consistencies the same, check the video description box. I've put a link down there that has lots of details. So I'm going to start with the West. So I've got my colors. I need pretty much a full cup of paint here. And I'm just going to put them in layers. I don't know if I'm going to adjust the order of my colors just for variety. I'm not sure. Or whether I'll do them in the same order the whole time. Here down on the bottom, I want fairly large layers because I want there to still be some nice solid colors as we get to the bottom of the cup. But at the top, I'm going to make smaller layers so that we get a little bit more blending higher up. And I'm putting more white just because it is going to be important, I think, for the cell creation to have a fair amount of white in there. I'm going to start making my layers a little bit smaller now. I may do a layer of just this bright aqua green by itself, because it's a great color, but I just feel like against the pink it's going to go muddy, and against the green it's going to get lost. So we'll just give it a spot by itself. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to stop. Looks like between 8 and 9 ounces. So it's not a full 10 ounces, but I have extra paint if I need to add any flow paint to my corners. All right, so as I pour, I'm going to do this as a wandering straight pour. So the cup is going to move a little bit as I pour it out. Probably going to do some kind of like an S, you know, a little bit of wiggling back and forth. I don't know, we'll just see how it goes. But let's go ahead and pour. I'm also going to adjust the height of the cup. Oh my gosh, do you see that fly? He's on my hand. That's crazy. He's been flying around the whole studio this afternoon. That is a beautiful design. So obviously with a straight pour, the top of the cup is much more like bold patterns because the paints have not begun to mix. And then it starts blending as we get down here where it's coming out the bottom of the cup. And we still have some nice colors. We got lots of cell reaction. Oh, I love that. All right, so I'm going to torch this, because the torching can pop some air bubbles, which can then become little cells of their own. I'm not sure if this is going to all be able to flow perfectly, so I'm going to take sort of the leftovers that I've got. I don't have a lot of leftovers, do I? I'm going to take some of these colors and just help cover the corners, just to help the paint flow. I don't think we're going to leave, you know, a bright green corner or a bright pink corner, but helping the edges cover with paint, it helps it all flow more easily. And then on these sides I'll do the pink because there's more of that in the pour. These green and pink corners are giving wicked vibes. Was unintentional. Okay, that should help everything stretch a bit. And I wasn't sure about whether I should spin this to stretch it or whether I should tilt it. Spinning is great if you have a design that you want to stay really pristine, but tilting can help you sort of pull a neat pattern out of something that is a little bit more chaotic. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I think I'm going to go off this corner first because I don't love the ring. And I'm just going to move slowly because there's no need to rush here. Until we're like right up at the corner, and then I like to go quickly. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, now we're going to come backwards to this other pink corner. And back. So we lost some of those lovely pink cells that were over on the edge, but we still have an absolutely gorgeous design. So we'll take it now to that last corner. And back. So now I just have to get the design kind of balanced so it looks really intentional. I love that. Yeah, that's very cool. I love the way that looks. I love the nice dreamy blend of the pinks and the greens and the blues. It's beautiful layers, nice boulder cells there with the pink. What's interesting is we've got green on this side and on this side, but this is like delicate fanned green and this is bright, like solid zigzag, which is really interesting. I'm going to torch it one more time. And then I've got a couple corners here that I need to cover because I've got pink under the green and I've got green under the pink. So somehow I put the wrong color down, but I'll just scoop up a little bit of extra paint and dab it on there to cover. Yeah, I love this. These layers are amazing. The cells are great. So let me move this out of the way and then I will rinse out my cup and we'll do the east. All right, let's go ahead and paint the east. I love these nautical colors, the nice navy blue and the sky blue and then sort of the gold and the beachy tan, so love it. I do need the white. So I'm gonna do it almost exactly the same way that I did that. These colors don't get muddy in the same way that like pink and green could get muddy, so I may try more, different layering patterns. But I'm going to do it basically the same way. Start with some larger layers at the bottom. Make sure I've got my house paint white layer in between a lot of the different colors. Put a nice big layer of gold right here in the middle. Okay, making some smaller layers now here at the top. Okay. That's a beautiful cup of paint. I love those nice clean layers. All right, I think I'm going to pour it pretty much the same way, sort of a zigzag, a little bit of changing in height, because that can make the cells and the paints, when you're pouring low, the colors come out very like clean, and when you come from up high, they rush out more quickly, and it changes the dynamic of what the paints look like. So I'm going to do a little bit of changing as I move around. So let's do it. Just going to spread some of this on the edge because I wasn't loving the pattern I was getting there at the middle, but I didn't want to waste my paint. Okay, that looks cool. Beautiful beachy colors. I love it. I think because it's overall blue, I'm just going to put some blue flow paint on all the corners just to make sure that everything can cover nicely. If you don't put flow extender on your corners, it's totally fine. You're just going to waste a little bit more of your design. You're going to pour off more than you need to because it's harder for your paint to reach the corners and cross over them on a dry canvas because it kind of gets stuck. So if you can add some paint, then you don't need to lose as much of your design. And I liked the way that I tilted it the last time. So here, then here, then here, then here. That's going to be my plan. It's possible I'll change that, but let's tilt. Nice and slow, especially at the beginning when you've got lots of paint on your canvas. because you don't want to lose more than you have to. And I'm not taking it all the way to the corner because I already had some color and some design there. Ooh, this is cool. Now I'm going to set this down because I forgot to torch this first. So I'm going to torch it really quick, just in case there's some air bubble cells that want to grow while I stretch it. All right, back we go. I'm bringing the weight of the paint back up before I bring it back down. That way we don't lose too much down off this bottom edge. Got this really interesting greenish color from where the gold and the dark navy have blended. It's really cool. Or perhaps it's the unbleached titanium. It's one of those more yellowy colors mixing with the blue. But it doesn't look bad at all. It looks really, really dreamy. All right, last corner. Okay, let's get it evened back out now. Sometimes when you move it at the end, what you're trying to do is straighten your lines out, and sometimes what you're trying to do is create movement. So I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know if I'm making waves. Yeah, I think I'd rather have some curve. I think that looks nice. Yeah, that's gorgeous. So again, we have lots of beautiful layers. We've got some cells, so there's a few little round cells. There's not as many of kind of the bolder cells that we had with the pink, but we have these sort of like fingerling things where it is, the white paint is swelling. So that is a nice kind of cloudy look. I love it. I love the golden bands in there, and I love the dark. It's really, really pretty. Let me torch it one more time. I gotta cover these corners, and then, all right, I'm done. Let me give you a close-up of both of these paintings. Okay, here they are. So what's interesting is you can definitely see how the pattern is very similar on both. And that's because I poured them both essentially in the same way. So they start out in the top left corner, bold and zigzaggy, and then they turn to these kind of lines that fan out, and it gets feathery down on the right ends. So very cool colors here. Lots of interesting contrast between the pinks and the greens and stuff. And it's neat that that metallic teal is kind of the dark contrast color. I love that swirl of pink boulder cells running up through there. And then it's a really pretty sort of feathery green swoop. And then for the east, we got the nice bold colors on the left. And then down here is where we almost have that green from the blue blending with the gold. And then a really peaceful, dreamy section there. And then some of these kind of fingerling cells that you get from a waterfall pour. So really, really pretty. I love both of these. I'm going to let them dry, and then I'll show you how they look. Okay, they're dry. Oh, these turned out so cool. They dried really, really nicely. So as you can see, I've actually flipped them around because I think they look a little bit better fanning out upwards instead of downwards. But let's take a look at these patterns. So as they're dry, you can see the metallic teal is shining much better. And because that's a dark metallic, it doesn't show up quite as bright, but you can see it there, and definitely when this is varnished, it will make this look a lot more three-dimensional. So I love that. And the Quinacridone Rose, it dried darker, which is neat. I like having that. It's almost like a rouge color. So that's cool, along with the lighter pink where it's up against the white. And then moving over to the east, this is just so pretty. I love these ocean colors, and the gold is so shimmery. I love it. Rippling waves, beautiful layers, and a few nice little cells in there. So this is really, really cool. I love how both of these turned out. In my next video, I'm going to paint the north and the south sections of this commission, so be sure to watch that video too. Thank you so much for joining me for these wandering straight pours. I hope it's inspired you to try something new, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye guys!